Hey, DangerMan here at Paintball Extravaganza 2019. I've got somebody special that I've found here. It's how long have we known each other, Bea?
Too long.
So it's Bea Paxson.
It's definitely been about 10 years, I think.
10 years?
Yeah.
I'm dating myself.
I know. It's crazy, but I'm really thankful for everything you're doing for the paintball community.
Thank you.
So I am Bea Youngs Paxson.
Yeah, I also said I put a T in there. It's Paxson.
It's okay. Yeah.
There's no T in there. Yeah, you got it.
And
I corrected myself.
Yeah. And I started playing paintball back in 1999. A friend of mine named Tammy Adamson, she asked me if I wanted to play paintball, and I said not really. If I wanted to join the military and go do that, I would, because in my head I had thought that paintball was just that thing you do in the woods and you dress up in camo and you get all militant like.
Right.
But she's like, oh no, it's definitely, there's another segment of paintball and I want to show it to you. So she showed me the airball field.
And it's really hard at a time like that to demystify what paintball is about.
It is, and even still to this day you'll run into people that only have that thought in their mind about what paintball is. Mm-hmm. But she showed me the airball field, and my life was changed because that concept field with the inflatables is what intrigues me.
Bea,
Yes.
You're saying airball, you're not saying woods.
No, I also do
here?
woods though too. I actually started out as a tournament player primarily. I didn't even get to play rec ball, didn't even get to experience what a walk-on player was. It was
You went straight into it.
Straight into it because Tammy had this plan to just be a dynamic, an aggressive female team, but with a little bit of like beauty to it.
What was the name?
Femme Fatales. Yeah. So I played with them for a good 4 or 5 years, and then I moved to California with the intent actually to go into the music business. But I also was still doing the paintball thing. Got a job at JTUSA as their promotions coordinator. And we'll edit that. It's all good. No worries. Worked at JT and made some really major connections. 2004 came. I started up my own team called Destiny. And
2004.
Yeah.
This team
I have such a long story, so I'm trying to just like cut out some pieces.
Listen, there's always somebody new out there who hasn't heard this, so
right on.
You're giving this information to somebody, and somebody's going, "Yeah, this is damn cool."
Yeah. So I actually had played with a pro team. I only had one chance to play overseas with them. It was the Bushwhackers. But then when we got to the national events in the States, I was benched. I didn't really feel like, just because I had that pro title, if I wasn't on the field to actually participate,
right.
I didn't feel like I was really, setting an example. So another opportunity came up where I could collaborate with a couple of girls that needed a team, and so we formed Destiny.
Now it's a 5-man, 3-man, 7-man.
It was 7-man in the national.
We say man, don't we?
Yeah, we do say man. I know, it's totally fine. We're all humans. But yeah, 7-man format in the National Professional Paintball League, and it was, like you said, 7-on-7, and we collaborated with another team that came from the East Coast, and some of them lived in California. So it just worked.
Yeah, I always wonder how these teams, when they have assembled players from all over the country, how they practice.
Well, in this particular situation, because we're all kind of living in California now, we did have practices in California. And Destiny, from 2004 to about 2007, we primarily functioned as a regional team.
Okay.
But then
playing against the men.
Yes.
Okay.
So
it's very important to understand this. I mean,
yes.
This is a women's team, but it wasn't a women's league.
No, and there shouldn't be.
Okay.
But
I agree.
There's talks about that possibility of having one, but that's a whole other episode.
Yeah,
But
and the truth is, and I think you and I both follow the same line of logic. Paintballs don't care who you are. Short, tall, skinny, fat, young, old, male, female. Anybody can play this game, so to divide it among sexes is just a non-starter to me.
And I agree with you there. I think the sport of paintball, that entity, the paintball entity, doesn't feel that way, right? But there are still some people that hold stereotypes that think that maybe if women were given their own league, that it would be a more comfortable situation. But I didn't start out playing paintball with the intent just to be, how do I say this? I like the fact that I could play against the guys. I didn't want to just play against other females. Right. So with that said, come 2004, within that same year, we actually brought on a couple of the guys because we were struggling with the speed that we needed to get out to the tapes.
Okay.
And so even though we were known as an all-female team, we actually were known as, we were truly a mostly female team. And so now in 2019, the team has actually grown to almost 100 members. I know, 100 members. I know that explosion kind of was like, pop. Yeah, and so now
Kind of fitting.
the direction I'm taking with Destiny is including everybody, regardless of gender. We're still trying to empower women, but using that co-ed as a means of promoting it.
I love
it. Yeah.
And quite honestly, as much as I think females and males are both participating in this game equally, I do think that females need more of a voice in terms of being having, like, I guess, a mouthpiece.
Yes.
So I've built a section on the DangerMan's Lair website.
I love that
called
too.
Girl Power. And while the female writers are writing pieces for women, for about the needs of women in the game, because women are different than men in that regards. I mean, the clothing and the things, the way they want to hold their guns and things of that nature in terms of the hand size. These things are important to women in terms of their needs need to be met as well. So, and it's not just equipment and clothing. There's all types of things. So that female perspective is something that we brought to the site, and we have 5 writers that are female, and I'm hoping that maybe you'll be able to suggest
I would
somebody.
love to participate.
Ah, there we go.
Yes, I would totally love to do that. Well, and I think what you're doing is great, and I think definitely women do need to have a voice, and especially having something that other women can relate to.
Right.
I mean, there's 2 types of females. There's also 2 types of males. You have your feminine female or male, or you have your masculine
Right.
female or male.
Masculinity and femininity is not exclusive to sex, I hear these days.
Exactly. So with all of that said, as long as people with like minds can relate to somebody, I think girl power will definitely be a voice for women in paintball.
Yeah, I mean, again,
sure.
the title of it is a little tongue-in-cheek, but it's meant to, so that people can understand this is where, this department, in terms of the, every magazine or newspaper has departments. The health department, food. Well, this one is one where, although the ladies are going to write articles all across the website for DangerMan's Lair for all types of topics, at least if you want to go to that area, you'll find where all that information it is centralized. They get their own little area in which everything that might be interesting only to a woman will be at least be in that particular area.
And you could talk about controversial issues, like especially as women, we kind of have to hold our tongue a little bit, and like avoiding things like, oh, how does it feel to get shot by a girl? Like, why even bring it up?
Right,
because
yeah.
we're all trying to be on an equal playing field. So if you even mention articles like that and kind of share a story about how sometimes that can actually be more of a negative thing to bring up. You can even discuss, like, when someone will come up to me and says, hey, B, I got a girl for you. Okay, well, why isn't she playing on your team?
Right.
I mean, oh, well, or I'll say, well, how long has she been playing? Oh, she's been playing for 6 months. Okay, well, we play D3 in the NXL. Like, I don't know if a 6-month player can actually exceed and be successful and have a good time in Division 3.
And it illustrates the point. It's about skill. It's not about sex. Really what it comes down to. I mean, if you're good, you're good.
Right. And so now with this expansion, we actually now do have D5 rookies that are female playing sometimes as an all-female line or a mostly female line. And we also have teams across the country like Destiny, Kansas, where they don't have any females on their team. Right? So Destiny's premise has now become just about creating this network and this platform that paintball's not just for, we're just focusing on women.
So if we got a female player watching this right now, how would they reach out to you guys?
Come to destinypaintball.com, or you can come to our Facebook page. And if they're interested, I definitely would love to interview them.
Is it Destiny Paintball on Facebook?
That is correct.
Right,
yeah.
Okay, so now you know you get those 2 keywords in there to play.
Yeah.
So, we'll close with this. Destiny has had a long history. Don't you have a documentary or something that's going on right now?
We actually do. Thanks to Inflect Media, Evan Lerman, he actually made a 3-part documentary. The first part's already on his YouTube channel, and it's youtube.com/Inflect, ENFLICT.
So it's not with an I, it's with an E.
Yeah, and it's right there now because you're going to put that up on your
Yes.
video.
And I expect Inflict to give me a little love too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so, what is that documentary? What does it mean to you?
Well, this particular documentary is about World Cup. So World Cup for me, the very first one that I attended, was actually what hooked me into falling in love with the game. And so I wanted to pass that same experience forward to new players that have never experienced World Cup. And so that's what the documentary is about.
Does it have a happy ending?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
All right. So
You're going to love it.
So somebody wins in the end, I hope.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Yeah. Well, actually, I mentioned in the documentary that it's not always just about the trophy that you take home. It's also just really the reward is the journey.
The journey is the reward for me in life.
Yes.
The journey is the reward.
Yeah. So yes. So there is a reward given at the end of the documentary.
Well, for me, it's friendship. Bea and I have gone
Absolutely.
back many, many years.
Thank you so much.
And it's such a pleasure to see you again.
Indeed.
We're at Paintball Extravaganza here at 2019, and I hope that if you've gotten anything out of this, and it is that paintball is for everybody. It is the most inclusive sport you could possibly participate in. It is not exclusive, and if you go to DangerManslair.com, you're going to find out just how inclusive it truly is. If you are a beginner, if you're an intermediate, if you're anybody in paintball who thinks you want to learn just a little bit more about this craft that we participate in, please go there. Bea, thank you very much.
No, thank you too.
All right.
It's too much for any man.
I love Bea. She is good people's, and as much as I do the tongue-in-cheek thing of getting her name wrong, I will tell you, she is everything that's right about this sport. She is inclusive. She's one of those people who's absolutely, just passionately, night and day, lived for paintball. If you don't know who she is, she's a force to be reckoned with, and she is the woman behind the name Destiny. For all of the female paintball players out there, she is an important person, but quite honestly, she's an important person to even the male players. We're all in this game together. And what I'm getting at is it's about that sharing thing that you keep hearing me just beat you over the head with. The new players will only stay in this game if we share our knowledge, if we are open with them, and if we actually approach them and don't make them approach us. Yeah, they have YouTube, but when they get to the fields, we can be looked at and seen as pricks because we're just such a bunch of hotshots ready to just pound somebody with paint. I mean, that's what the game's about. But the fact is, when they come out there and they're off the field, we do need to show them that we're still on the same team and we're here to help them and keep them in the game so they can become that advanced or established player to give us a hard time later, because they will grow if we nurture them. By the way, the photo, that's by Scrub Media. You should check them out. Thank you, everybody, and I will see you at DangerManslair.com.